San Diego Global Knowledge University. Introducing a true inspiration, Kevin Cruz, an esteemed alumnus of our full Stack Development Immersive Program. Join us as Kevin takes us on a captivating journey, sharing his transformative experience from pre-course developer days to the tech maestro he is today. Get ready to be inspired.
Hello, good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. Ana Rico. I'm Career Service Coordinator here at SDGKU. We are very grateful that you're here with us today at this SDGKU Alumni Spotlight. I hope you enjoy this opportunity to learn about the journey as a front-end developer. One of our graduates from the Full Stack program, Kevin Cruz, who's here today to share his experience with you. We'll share. So welcome, Kevin. It's a pleasure to have you here. And also with us today in this conversation is Dr. Sergio Insunza. So I will pass the floor to Dr. Sergio so that he can start posing the questions. And for all of you guys, if you want to ask any question, please use the chat, type your comments, the questions. There will be a time at the end of this talk for you to get to know more about Kevin, and we'll be reading your questions and comments to him. So thank you so much. Please go on, Sergio.
Thank you. I'm delighted to see such a crowd of future software developers, and some of you are already software developers. I see past faces, I see current students, and I see soon to be my students. So it's pretty amazing for me. Before we start, I just have one quick phrase that I want to read to you guys. It says, your success as developers will not come only from the languages and your frameworks that you know and master, but also will come from your ability to adapt, be resilient, and your curiosity to continue learning technology. So today we are fortunate to have here with us someone who embodies these traits, someone who has walked the path that you are about to embark upon and navigated it with determination and perseverance. So Kevin has proven himself to be an accomplished developer and agreed to share his experience here with us, and we are really grateful for that. So let's get into business, shall we? So Kevin, can you please tell us a little bit about your journey after completing the course here? What were some of your initial challenges when you started looking for a job?
Thank you for the introduction. How's everyone doing? Good. It's just surreal for me to be here. I feel like I was just in your shoes a little over a year ago. So it's pretty insane. I graduated from this course in February of 2023, so 2022, last year. So it's pretty wild. So the journey, it's one that takes, just like Sergio was saying, determination. It doesn't take a genius to do it, to be honest with you. It just takes a little direction and a little grit to push through it. I love the course itself. I completely internalized the content, and like Sergio said, I was more curious than what the content was, than what the material was giving me. So I kept asking questions. If there's one thing I could advise you guys as you're going through the course, is don't just do the homework, don't just create the variables and put the functions and that's it, but ask questions. Having the instructor there is so beneficial, and they're very knowledgeable instructors. I've taken Udemy courses after this course. I've taken YouTube tutorials, just to learn new things, learn new frameworks or languages. And those are great, but it just requires so much Googling and figuring out on your own. So having that resource there to really pick their brain, even if it takes the entire class of you just asking questions, I guarantee you they're not going to be upset about it, and you will get the most bang for your buck, right? At the end of the day, somebody's paying for this. But yeah, do you just want me to go through the journey, what happened to me after school?
Yeah, please.
Sweet. And feel free to redirect me. I tend to ramble sometimes. So, and if anyone has any questions along the way, again, feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind. So I finished the course, right? It was an 8-month long. I finished in February of last year. I figured I need to find something to do, right? I need to get a job. One of the ideas that I landed on was to niche down, right? Web development as a whole. In fact, zooming out, software development can mean so many different things. It's not just a cookie cutter position, right? So I figured I had to pick an industry, pick something that I want to excel at, learn more of, so that I can start making money off of it. So for me, that was e-commerce, right? E-commerce is one of the fastest growing industries. I think it still is. So I figured if anybody's going to need help on their website, is going to be business owners, and business owners are always looking to invest back in their product, right? Versus somebody's blog, they don't need to update their blog, or whatever the case is. And I decided to stick with front-end development just because it's the easiest door to entry, right? There's a million ways to turn a button green, and if you mess it up, no big deal. If you try to go into back-end things like working with data, it's a little bit harder to enter. Not only is it just more learning, if your brain works like that, that's cool. But also there's more on the line when it comes to somebody taking that chance with you. Their data can get messed up. So in my experience, I just found I chose front end for that reason. So I chose e-commerce, and then further down, I chose Shopify, just because e-commerce, or Shopify, is the biggest platform in the e-commerce space. Just as a background for Shopify, all I really work on a regular basis is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Very basic things. Shopify does use the liquid, I guess you could say, like, template for HTML. A lot of curly brackets, and you can kind of use variables and some logic in the HTML. But very basic stuff is what I'm trying to say. It didn't take me too hard. I went on YouTube, learned more about Shopify, and then from there I started freelancing in the space. I figured, let me start putting it into practice. So within 2 months after graduating, I brushed up on Shopify, started getting jobs on, what's the name of this website? Not Fiverr.
I think it's Fiverr. Yeah, Fiverr, Freelancer.
There's another one. I remember it as Upwork. There you go. Started doing it on Upwork. Great experience through and through. If I can give you an advice, if you decide to go that route, and this is for any industry, learning how to talk to people is an amazing asset. And very specifically, videos wins you clients, guys. Not that this is a how to freelance class or anything like that, but I'm just trying to data dump some things on you guys. I was getting very good conversion rates. People were replying to me left and right, just because I would send them not just hey, I can fix your site, but I send them a quick 30-second video of myself, like, in a bright lit room, smile on my face. Hey, let me help you. It becomes a personal thing. But now that I'd freelanced for about 4 to 6 months. Meanwhile, I was also being active on LinkedIn. And again, I'm just winging these things, right? I'm just doing whatever kind of feels right. And I'm always watching YouTubes and trying to figure out what more successful people did before me. But yeah, as I'm freelancing, I'm also active on LinkedIn just as a Shopify developer, right? So I'm just posting, hey, Shopify tips. Hey, I just did this for this client, just did that for that client, trying to make connections in the industry. I wasn't very direct about it, or very, I should say, I wasn't looking for a specific outcome. I just figured I got to start getting my name out there somehow. So I did that. After about 4 to 6 months of freelancing and being active, my current employer messaged me at the time, and it was a catastrophe. He messages me, right? I reply back within a few days, and we get on a call for an interview. Now at this time, I'm getting decent jobs off of Upwork, so I got together with some other alumni, and I started trying to like delegate some work, just to see, maybe I can build an agency or something. So I hop on the call with these guys. These guys are looking for a full-time developer, and I'm saying all the wrong things. I'm telling them that I'm barely coding anymore. I'm like, I think I'm hot shit at this point. Like, I'm barely coding anymore. I got people doing the work for me, whatever. And I could already see that wasn't rubbing them the right way. And but I just couldn't stop myself. Then they asked me what I want the salary. I'm like, let me shoot my shot. I'm like, I want 120 starting. And they open their eyes. They're like, okay, we'll get back to you. I ended the call. I reflected. I realized what an idiot I was, because I did want the job, right? I feel like you can learn a lot with a job versus just going at it by yourself. So for the next month or so, I'm once a week, I'm hitting this guy up, sending him different videos of myself, kind of explaining like, hey, we can start at this, and work my way up, whatever. What finally got my foot in the door, and this is why I tell the story, just again, another nugget if you guys want to pick it up. What finally got me to a call back from the guy was offering my services for free. Now, I understand not everybody can do that. You guys do it at your own discretion. But I figured, I know my stuff. And so let me do something, it's zero risk at that point, is what I'm trying to say. So I presented a zero risk offer for them. I do work for free. It doesn't cost you a dime. And if it doesn't work out, then we say goodbye. I got a reply from the guy like that. So he hit me up. They gave me a little project to do. It took me about 40 hours to complete, a whole week. But at the end of the week, they brought me on as a contractor. They actually paid me for the week, which was really nice of them. They brought me up on temporarily for 3 months. And after the first 30 days, they actually gave me the full-time gig, right? So fully employed, benefits, health plan, taxes, all that good stuff. Yep. And
amazing.
Doing that for the past few months.
That's pretty amazing. Thank you very much. So, do you think that your experience doing the freelance stuff helped you, or was required to get that position? Do you think that it will be the same if you haven't started doing freelance projects?
It definitely helped me. Required would have been a matter of skill, and I gained a lot of skill doing the freelance work, not only social skills, but also just exposing myself to a lot of different stores, projects, requests, things like that. So I familiarize myself with what the industry kind of demands from a developer, I suppose.
Amazing, thank you. And before Dr. Cecilia asked you about those social skills, I have just one more question. Do you think that same experience that you gain as a freelance, any other developer here can gain that experience just doing projects for themselves? Like they don't want to do freelance job, or they don't want to go through that path, but they want to practice. Do you think that just doing projects for themselves will they will help that gaining that experience? Sorry?
Absolutely. What I would recommend though is don't follow a tutorial like to the T, because you're just gonna learn how to color within the lines like everyone else. Get a task in mind, and maybe a multifaceted task, right? Like not just making something move from one side of the screen to the other, but make it move when a certain user is logged in, and have that person be able to, send a message to somebody else. I don't know, just pick something just a little bit above what you know how to do. But definitely, if you can be diligent enough to do your own projects, that would definitely do the trick.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, for example, Kevin, you were speaking about how learning how to communicate with other people is crucial. And I just want to ask a little bit more about that. But can you share an example on how your soft skills have positively impacted the work that you are doing right now and in the interview process as well?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, behind software development, there's one common industry that every business is in, and that's the people business. Businesses are run by people and they serve other people. So being able to articulate yourself and smile in a conversation, right? it goes a long way. Keep in mind, humans, we're very social, interactive, and also reflective. So if I smile, you guys will naturally want to smile. So those little tricks, keep those in mind. Slow your speech down, things like that. And remember, you don't remember 3 faces of what you saw yesterday. Meaning, even if you smudge up a call or you feel like you bombed it, they're not going to remember you. So you're the only one beating yourself up. So don't beat yourself up is what I'm trying to say. I guess that sounded a little bit more depressing as I said it. But what I mean to say is don't be shy, and you'll get better only with practice. So don't get anxiety about it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And for example, in your interview, did you get like questionnaires or evaluations to test you on this area of soft skills? Or what was the role that they played when you were in the actual interview?
It was very, very conversational. Like, it wasn't very technical at all. I know, I'm sure a lot of you have watched a lot of YouTube on, getting jobs at Google and Netflix and all these technical questions that you're gonna have to brush up on and everything. At least I know I was obsessed with watching those videos. But my personal experience, and also now that I'm on a team, I talk to people who are way more experienced than I. Jobs don't really ask you top technical questions unless you're going for that like top 1% employment, like the FAANG companies, right? Facebook, Google, Netflix, things like that. Then they have so many applicants, so they have to kind of siphon through them, and that's where they ask you those kind of technical questions. But most startups, most smaller companies, they just want to make sure that you can communicate with them, they can communicate with you, the feng shui is there, right? And that when a task comes to hand, the team can gel well together and solve the problem. So yeah, the interview was very, very chill, very relaxed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course. Does anybody have any questions off the top of your head?
This is the moment, guys.
Aaron, go for it.
Yes. So when you said you were doing freelancing, were you building contracts, or were you kind of just like, how were you going about, I guess, setting up that?
Yeah, so in Upwork specifically, it is contract based. That's why I like Upwork, because it's really easy just to jump in there as a novice, right? But yeah, it's contract based. You could either charge by the hour or charge a flat rate. I chose to go more the flat rate side, just from reading other people's opinions. People have done it before, just because when you go flat rate, you take away the risk from the client of this could take 1,000 hours, right? Who knows how long it's gonna take? And you onboard that risk onto yourself. So you're making it easier for the client to trust you. Now, of course, if you say it's gonna take you 5 hours and it took you 10, you shot yourself in the foot. But starting off, that's gonna happen. But as you go on, you'll get more comfortable with quoting, things like that.
Did you have like a generic kind of template you did for when you write out contracts, or like freehand it?
Nah, I think I do. I could pull something up. Hey, Serge, is it cool if I share my email on here with the team?
Sure, of course.
All right, you guys are more than welcome to hit me up. Just hit me up, ask me for that, and I'll pull up what I have. I think I do have some templates though. I'll even send you some of the videos that I would send other people, just to kind of show you what worked for me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. And did the platform help you with building that a contract, or it was entirely you? I saw some platforms help you. They gave you a base template that you can just polish to create your own contract.
I think Upwork does give you some kind of a template, although I don't think it's very good. The one I got actually ended up paying for it from somebody else who was teaching people how to do Upwork. So I'm more than happy to share it with you guys. There's definitely better ones out there, and I can go deeper into it if you guys want to hear more, but that'll take up the call. So up to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. So getting back into let's get back into track. So one of the main questions or concerns that I receive from the students, especially when we are in the last unit, and I'm pretty sure you were there too. Like, I don't feel ready to start going through interview process. I think I don't know enough because I saw online that there are 20 different databases and there are 64 different languages, and I just know 2 or 3. What's your suggestion for those questions or students that they feel that they don't know enough to get a job?
That is a very good question. Imposter syndrome is a very real thing. It's a very real thing. I get it on a consistent basis. I try to surround myself with people smarter than I, but I always think I'm not the man for the job. But the fact that you guys have gotten this far means you know way more than most of other people. Most people trying to get into the industry watch a few videos, did a few tutorials, and then now they're putting their foot forward, trying to do the best. You guys actually took the time, you put your resources and your time into learning something. So don't sell yourself short of that. In my experience, learning different languages and learning different frameworks, they're all almost the same. What I mean by that is a real developer isn't a React developer. A real developer isn't a JavaScript developer, isn't a CSS or HTML. A developer just knows how to develop. They see a problem, they can mentally break it down into parts, right? Like we're trying to make a message app, for example. What are some of the parts? Well, I'm going to need a front end. I'm going to need a back end database to hold the messages. I'm going to need some API calls that are going to call the database and send it to the front end, right? Breaking them down into components and bite-sized pieces. That's what the developer does. The software, don't worry about that. You can Google that. In fact, bro, with ChatGPT, most of my job, let me not say most, it's not that smart, but I use it very, very heavily. I've gotten to the point, I was building out an app for Zara. I don't know if you guys know Zara, the clothing company. They were building out this notification system on their e-commerce site. I have never built that before. I literally asked ChatGPT, yo, this is what I need to do. These are the things that need to happen. And it built out beautiful boilerplate code. Now, was it ready to launch? No. But with the knowledge that you guys have, you can read through it and it just gives you a good entry point. So I digress. The reason I bring those things up is you guys have the knowledge, the frameworks and everything. You guys can just Google it away. Start putting your resumes in, start getting those interviews, because the more interviews you get, the better you get at it. And you just got to shoot your shot. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but you guys are ready. Trust me.
You are going to make me cry. That's exactly what I tell the students all the time. And I think I'm hearing myself with your words. Thank you very much. Before I throw another question, anyone else have a question?
I have a question. I just wanted to know more about, so you said you started as freelancing for websites and stuff, but I just want to know more about what you do with your current employer. If you can elaborate on that.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Ivana. So what do I do on a day-to-day, essentially, is what you want to know, right? Pretty much, especially when I first started, now we're moving towards bigger projects. But I just take tickets. So sometimes it's this bug. So I work for an agency, right? Remember, I'm in the e-commerce space. So we manage a few different stores that have hired us to help them with the development. Sometimes that means bug fixes, right? Like, hey, this button just disappears when you hover over it, or a certain app isn't launching when they click on it. So you just go in there, start debugging. Sometimes it's funner things like building sections out, like, hey, we want to build this new shop the look section, right? So it's an image of a girl wearing some clothes, and when you hover over the clothing or over the pants or over the shoes, different products pop up, right? That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy those kind of projects. And now more recently, we've actually built kind of this, you can say proprietary, I guess, framework for building Shopify stores. Shopify stores are pretty slow as it is, but we got this new way of building them that's pretty fast. And we're onboarding a lot of clients where we're doing full builds. So we're literally taking their old store, we're creating the entire new design. We have a designer on the team. It's not me, I'm not a designer. And then I'm giving the design and a time frame. And so I have a homepage, a product display page, and a collection page. It's a Figma design, and I go in there and I literally just build it. So it's just HTML and CSS with some JavaScript thrown in there. That's pretty much what my day-to-day looks like. We use Asana to keep our, everything in track. So I just go in there every morning, see what my tasks are, and then I just get to coding, man. I'm in my office for a long time, but I thoroughly, this is something I want to say. I can be working, especially during the summer, I guess it's busy time. I can be working sometimes 8 to 12 hours a day in my office, and I absolutely love it. So there is no burnout if you guys actually enjoy what you're doing, kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Questions, anyone?
Yeah, lay it on me. About anything, lifestyle, software that I like to use, I don't know, whatever you guys want to know.
Okay, if not, or Aaron, yep.
I guess I throw a question. So do you keep active in any like I guess software communities to help keep you like up to date or your skill sharp? Like, do you join any of those like I don't know, like code communities or stuff? Like online?
Man, I wish I was good at this. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I was like, like Discord or like Stack Overflow or something,
Well, I'm definitely on Stack Overflow often, just Googling questions away. You know what I mean? Okay. Stack Overflow keeps me getting paid every month, so that's nice. I wish I was more into a society, into a what's the name of a group for coding. I really don't. I talk a lot with my senior developer. If there's any programming group I'm a part of often, I guess you could say is the NeoVim community, just because I love tweaking my editor. I use NeoVim, by the way, right? That's the meme. But yeah, outside of that, not really. Oh, I do watch a lot of YouTube though. I do watch a lot of YouTube when I can from other developers, new things coming up, new ways of doing XYZ, whatever. Just kind of keep my mind in the thing,
You have like one top YouTuber you kind of watch on the consistent, keep throwing out there?
Yeah, consistent basis. His name is The Primogen. Y'all know him?
No, I've never heard of him.
All right, I'm gonna drop the link right now. This dude is hilarious. He's really smart, good guy. He used to be a developer over at the Netflix. So cool cat. He also streams together more too. Boom, this guy here.
Awesome, thank you. So if I can elaborate a little bit more there, usually we as active developers, I will say, it's hard, as Kevin mentioned. Sometimes you need to work 8 hours, you need to work even more hours, and in those hours, it's a lot of thinking, so you get tired, not physically, but mentally. So we professional developers, I think we try to, or we don't have enough time or enough energy to keep up with the developers community. Those communities are mainly for people that are trying to get into a position. Once you get into your job, your team becomes your community, and the new technologies that you want to learn is the things that you discuss in your team, and things that you need to fix something, or you need to improve the speed of a project. So you start Googling what type of technologies will work better for that. And then you discuss that with your small community, with your developers team. And then it's up to each one to get to know that technology, and let's start using it, and let's start coding that way. At least that's how I see it. I don't know if you, Kevin, agree with that.
No, I agree 1000%. And I think that kind of ties into the other question of, would you be ready for the job? Every employee that hires you on fully knows that you're not going to go in there knowing everything. They just want somebody who can learn fast and then start solving problems kind of situation. So kind of that's what Sergio was saying. It's just a matter of joining the team, asking the right questions, and then with the team figuring out, learning, growing, that kind of thing. Most developers, at least in my experience, they're happy to talk about code, man. So, you join a team and you'll learn very quickly as long as you ask questions.
Do you use a Git in your job?
Yeah, of course. Of course I use Git, yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, right. It's part of the industry. Right now, it's a must-have for most of the companies.
Yeah.
So yeah, when that's what we are trying to practice or make the students to practice during the project. So do you remember your project that you created for the last units on the course?
Yeah, it was a guitar shop, I think is what I built. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And do you think that helped you preparing or living some of the experiences that you need or to be out there, or do you find some similarities when working on that project on a small team to the things that you do on your job right now, working on a bigger project on a bigger team?
1000%. Actually, right now, so like I mentioned before, what I do most of it is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But recently, we started using React for integrating a subscription app into the Shopify space. So we needed to build a custom React app around it. And the only React I ever touched was in school. So it was like riding a bike, getting back into it. Because the guitar shop, the project that we did in class was fully React based. And then of course, I think Python for the back end or something like that. But yeah, building something like that. And again, going above and beyond, if the task requires you just to have 3 products, make 4, make 5. If the project just makes you have to make the add to cart button work, why don't you also make a favorite button as well, right? Just so you can practice that, just kind of push yourself and just be curious about it. But yeah, the projects do translate well to real life.
And do you have any previous experience with coding before you getting into the course?
Actually, I did. I remember in middle school, I built my own MySpace page, and let me tell you, that thing was nice. But
okay.
No, outside of that, no, I never had any experience.
Okay, I'm asking you this because the second, I think, biggest fear that I see that I notice against students is, what will I put on my resume? I don't have experience, so what should I put in there if I never work or I don't have coding experience? And how you manage that part?
Man, you guys have experience of some kind of experience. So I don't know how many of you were in the military before, but there you go, my guy. In the military, at least in the Coast Guard, the only way that you account for your time is by putting it into paper, right? Cruz spent 10 hours organizing the closet. But by organizing the closet, he made the team work better. He cut down the cost of finding objects. We no longer spend 3 hours trying to find whatever, right? You kind of fluff it up a little bit. So what I'm trying to say is we all have some sort of experience doing something, and try to translate that into what benefit does it bring onto the team? What do you bring to the table? That also helps with your people skills, just being able to articulate your value, your worth. Also, dude, fake it till you make it kind of situation, you know what I mean? Goes a long way in those kind of things. Here, I'll show you guys my website that I built for myself, right? I think this is it. This was the website, my portfolio website, Kevin Cruz. I'm just making sure. The reason I share it is so you guys can see the 2 projects on there. They're not real clients. Those are 2 practice. You can make practice shops all day long on Shopify for free. I made 2 practice shops. And this site, it looks beautiful. I didn't make it. I went to webflow.com and just grabbed a template and slapped my stuff on there. And that's what I use to send to clients and things like that. Clients don't know any better. So again, that picture, I wish I could say I hired a photographer. My brother took it outside my house. So fake it till you make it goes a long way, trust me.
And do you recommend to the students putting the project and the technology to be covered during the course as experience? Should they add that to the resume?
Absolutely. Not only just say you could say you made a real website for a real client. Again, and showcase on this. I don't know if you guys are looking at the site right now, but if you click on one of the projects, I kind of break it down between the challenges that I went to, the solutions that I implemented, and what that means for the client. So even with your practice stores that you guys make or practice projects, you can put down the technologies that you use, and the benefit that came from there or something like that. So yeah, for sure. And also remember, a lot of software developers, it costs companies a lot of money to hire them, right? We're not cheap. So if you guys have something on there, they're gonna know that you're a beginner. But if you can just get your foot in the door, ask for less money, you know what I mean? You don't have to go for the 120 off the bat. Start at 40, start at 50. That's very reasonable for what we do. In fact, that's cheap for what we do. You can get your foot in, at least, I don't know where you guys are all from. I mean, they speak for everybody, but at least in Florida, where I'm at, in the United States, it's not hard to find. And then that's where you learn, and then that's where you can keep, asking for more and things like that. So, yeah.
Dr. Arico, do you want to ask something? Any questions?
Well, I would like to ask you about, like, if you could list the main soft skills that you have identified as like someone in the field that you're in now requires to work better with the teams and to like be able to grow the most and add the most value into the company where you're working. That would be like pretty helpful, because we see now how knowing the technical things are important, but more and more it's required that employees would have or people working for a company would have these soft skills in order to add more value to the company. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I'd say the biggest soft skill is just being able to speak and being responsive as well. Those are, I say, the two main things that any company would be looking for. So my little tips of advice, I used to sell homes before I started doing this. So I'm naturally an introvert, but I got used to talking to people. And I would say the two things that helped me the most was slowing my speech down. Like I'm always trying to get my point across really fast, and then I end up mumbling and going just too quick through it. So pausing and eye contact and smiling. I usually enter all of my calls with a smile on my face. And I've heard it from multiple teams that I've worked on that Kevin is just a ray of sunshine when he comes in. Has nothing to do with my technical skills. They just wanted me there just because I brighten up the day, right? So those are, I would say, almost more important than your technical skills. But at the end of the day, you still gotta know what you're doing.
That's like so nice to know. And also, like, I'm thinking on how before you mentioned about like building your MySpace page, and that would be also like when we are working on our workshops on identifying our strengths and like building up the resume, it's like always important. And you mentioned these things already, like mentioned them, but we could like go a little deeper. It's like identifying all those skills or strengths that you have had throughout your life, not just in the professional field, because maybe there's no professional experience, but just like being able to notice those things that were used to carry on other projects, or just to like things that you did as hobbies or that helped you out at some point, how you could like apply them later. Or when you also mentioned about being in the military, it's like sometimes it's I feel like stressing for someone who was in the military and then comes to the civil life to say like, okay, the things that I used to do there, I cannot do here in like in this other life, right? So it's like not thinking of the experience. I learned to use this particular machine, but like which were the skills that helped me like operate this machine? Those skills are the transferable ones. So maybe you have examples of experience, like skills that you developed in your childhood or teenage years, that then you realize, oh, okay, I was like already having these that could add value later on in my life. Or maybe as well, if you come from a military background, to say, oh, I noticed that this thing that I learned I was able to transfer it, and it has really like enhanced my performance as a developer. Yeah.
That's a really good question. So let me just paraphrase. In other words, what other kind of almost soft skills, you could say, have helped throughout my lifetime, have helped, I guess, where I'm at now, right? Like get the job, do the job.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say, at least going back to the military thing, I think there's a few military people here. I know my boy Felix is. There's no, one thing you kind of adapt is there's no really, the word no doesn't really exist, right? There's no, I don't want to do that, or I can't do that, or we can't do that. It's you get presented with a mission, with a directive, and you know, you shut up and you do it kind of situation. I didn't think there was anything special about that, right? I never thought of it until I started getting more jobs, and I really didn't say no to anything, right? Like, we need to fix this, or we need to integrate this other thing. For example, you know, they're installing an app to their store that just shows reviews, and the app, even like the team on the app was like, we can't do this. And I'm just like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to do it. And I just, you know, kept digging deeper, like went through the documentation, read the APIs, and you know, at the end of the day, I was able to come out with a custom solution that nobody else was willing to do for this brand. And again, I didn't think anything of it. It's just I was given the job, so I did it. But I've heard multiple times before how people are just happy that that's my attitude, that, you know, let's get it done. So I would probably say that, and then just curiosity. I've always enjoyed computers, right? That's why I was in IT in the military. I was into computers before then. Nothing technical, right? I wasn't like deep into programming or anything like that. I just always like tinkering with things and see how that worked. So kind of maintaining that curiosity is definitely going to help you out. Especially is going to help you out not get any burnout, because if it starts feeling like a job and you're just dreading doing the thing, then you're going to get burnt out, right? And then maybe that's not the industry for you, kind of situation. But I figured if most of you guys have gotten this far, you each have a certain level of curiosity about how things work, right? So just lean into that and don't let go.
Thank you very much.
So if
I'm sorry.
Yep. Go ahead.
And now that you mentioned about burnout, like, what would be a tip or a couple of tips that you could share with us on how you prevent that burnout, besides being like keeping yourself curious about things? Like, because you mentioned you could be working for very long periods of time, but still like feeling energized and still bringing that bright sunshine with you. So that can help.
Absolutely. Real quick, I see Miles, you got your hand up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Elaborating on you're talking about trying to dig deeper, reading the documentation and stuff like that. I found myself going into Bootstrap, Tailwind, NPM, just trying to figure out, is there another way to do something? Do you have a recommendation on, like stopping yourself from going too far into a rabbit hole where it's like, oh, now I'm learning C# or something like that, trying to just get way out of hand?
Yeah, that's definitely a tangent right there, C#. But let's see. How do you stop yourself? Because it happens to me, and honestly, sometimes I'm in my office for 10 hours. I only really did 6 hours worth of work, right? So I'm definitely guilty of it. I would say, at least when it comes to a specific task, is learn just enough to do the task, right? And then just execute. And if you have free time afterwards and to try to clean up the code or to try to optimize the code, then do so. But definitely be task oriented. It would be a big one. And the other one is read the documentation, man. Learn C++. That's what we're here for. You know what I mean? That's the fun part for me. Like I mentioned before, I got into using NeoVim, for example, a few months ago for my senior developer. And one of the things that I enjoy about the coding experience is using my editor, because it's such a custom experience. Like I've put in all the plugins that I like. I've tweaked them. I've coded my own plugins. So that kind of thing, I pretty much gave myself a break from coding by coding other funner things, you could say. You know what I mean? So if you can find those pockets of things that if reading documentation does it for you, then do it. If tweaking your window manager, right, does it for you, then do it. But kind of try to find those little moments of mental reprieve, right? I don't think you should limit yourself to coding only 4 hours a day to prevent burnout. I think you can be coding 8-10 hours a day as long as you're intriguing yourself, I guess you can say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's great. I like that answer. Thank you.
Of course. Cool. I mean, anybody else want to jump in there, or do I answer the other question? Okay. So, well, anyways, back to the question you asked, Ms. Rico. To prevent burnout, I think was your question, right?
Yeah.
I think I pretty much actually wrapped it up in that last answer. Let me know if you need me to elaborate on it.
Well, I think that's it was good advice. Thanks.
Okay. Good. Awesome.
It's a little bit of pay yourself, right? If you like tweaking your editor, go for it. Others like different keywords or bigger and bigger screens every time. If that will keep you happy, if that's what will keep you motivated, and you will code those 6 hours every day, trying to find the right tone on the keyboard, or trying to find the specific screen size that works for you, just go for it. That will be my recommendation. And if you like it, if you're intrigued, if you are trying to learn new things, it will not feel like a job, as Kevin mentioned, then it's less possible to get burned out.
Yes, sir. Can't agree.
And then also related on how to keep yourself motivated. I think it would be very useful for everyone to know, how did you identify your purpose or your why you do what you do?
What is my why? That is an excellent question. Number one, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ keeps me going every single day. I think religion is very important. Number two, my family. So I got a wife, I got 2 babies. That's plenty of motivation to want to do better. You know what I mean? And then number 3, I like making money, man. What can I say? That definitely keeps me motivated every 2 weeks when I see the paychecks coming in.
But for example,
if I gotta be honest,
you could be making money and still those 3 things that you just mentioned could be met doing something else, being a doctor or a lawyer, or but what would make the difference for you to want to make the money here in this industry? What really makes you say okay, here's a new day, I'm going after?
Okay, no, thank you for digging deeper. So specifically to software development or front-end development, I absolutely love working from home. I don't want to drive nowhere. I got PJs on my shorts right now. I don't have to dress up too hard. I have an office space at my house, which is nice. So I make my office comfortable. It's a moment away from the family. I just said family motivates me. I need a break too. So work, I can't stress enough for me how important working from home is. And not only in this day and age, but also in this industry, it's very commonplace to find those opportunities. I used to drive an hour to work, to and from work every single day. I'd leave the house, my kids waking up or still asleep, and I'd get home on the way to fall asleep. So to be able to grab that back is amazing. I get to code from the kitchen sometimes, especially the days I have to code longer. I just set up in the kitchen. Is it more distracting? Sure, but I'd rather get distracted by the laughter and crying of my children than having to deal with traffic, right, and gas, and just being stressed out that way. So if I had to say, the number one thing would probably be just working from home is an absolute plus.
So having an opportunity to be closer to your family and enjoy more your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course.
We have time for another question. Anyone? Miles?
Oh, sorry, I don't want to take up all the questions, but
No, sure.
I got caught in a video tutorial loop of hell, they call it, where it's just constant training video after training video. Should I learn this? Should I learn that? Keep up with the dev's lifestyle. Did you get caught into that? How did you overcome that? And then attached to that, what about imposter syndrome? How do you feel about that every day?
So imposter syndrome goes away slowly. You'll always have in the back of your head, but you start being able to rely on yourself. You're like, okay, well, I faced things that I didn't think I could accomplish before, and I accomplished them, kind of situation. So you start carrying that confidence around with you. At the beginning, though, again, fake it till you make it kind of situation will be the way to go, especially when it comes to trying to like get that job. When it comes to tutorial hell, I never really fell into it too hard. Just again, I was very focused on what I wanted to do. So when I was in school, I was just focused in school. When I got out of school, I just focused on just learning Shopify specifically, so I can just start getting those jobs. And then I immediately just started getting the jobs. So I didn't really have too much time to get caught up on it. My suggestion, though, would be not to find tutorials on how to make a cool website, but there's plenty of YouTubers that do give this kind of advice or give these kind of examples. Find problems or projects to do. So don't find out how to make this button slide and spin across the page, but find a project like almost like if a client would have given it to you, something like fire alarm. Good, happens all the time. Hopefully the house isn't burning, right? But yeah, look up projects, something similar to build a site that allows a user to log in and check a message board, while also giving, there's an admin login. If you log in as an admin, then you can see those messages and reply to those messages, kind of like a ticket-based thing. So look for things like that aren't going to hold your hand, but then that way you can look up, okay, well, how am I going to build that? How to send, do a login on a site. And now you're flexing those muscles that you're going to be using every single day in your job, which is Googling for a solution versus just pausing a video, trying to do it, and then just hit play on a video and just copying what they did. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the sooner you move away from tutorials and you start doing that, I promise you your skills is gonna skyrocket, man. Yeah. And lean on your professors. Can't stress that enough how clutch that is.
Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? I think we have time for another one. Will? Yep.
Hi. Do you have any recommendations on getting your first freelancer Upwork job, especially with everybody else trying to bid for the lowest price? Other people have more experience, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. First off, thanks for asking the question, man. I can tell just by the way you just articulated that answer or that question that you do have a presence, which is important, because that's going to be my number one tip is shoot a Loom video. So let's say somebody puts up a job thing like I have this bug and I need it fixed, or I need to find a way to speed up my site. You record a 30-second video of yourself with a big ass smile on your face. You're like, hi, my name is Kevin and I'm the solution to your problems. You said you need this done. You be very specific so they know it's not a generic video. You say you need this done. Here's how I would do it. And immediately show that you have the value. Or this is what I've done for other stores, right? And I have, I'm screen recording my face and the screen as well. And maybe I have like 2 sites that I did before that I want to show them, or I show them how they could do it for something simple. I can show them how they could do it. Because the name of the game when you're freelancing, especially, is getting those reviews up first. So send the video, and then specifically on Upwork, the first 2 sentences on a proposal is what they see before they click on it. So they put up a job post, 10, 20, 50 people, depending on what the job is, I've messaged them, they see all this message board, you know, in their inbox, they only see like the first 2 lines for each one. So I would use their name if possible, and you can usually find their name if other developers or other people have left them reviews. A lot of times they use their name because that's not automatically visible to you. So use their name first in there. That way they see it's a personalized message and not just a copy paste message, like you just sent it to 50 different job postings. And then also be very direct to their problem in that message as well. So like, hey, Will, I saw you needed to speed up your site. I've done that, you know, whatever the case is, just within those 2 sentences, and then the link to your Loom video. That's my email address in there. Feel free to hit me up. I'll send you the templates that I've sent before, and I'm more than happy to reconnect with any of you guys later if you just want to, you know, shoot the shit or talk game plan or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else? You guys want me to elaborate on any of that or anything at all?
Do you have another question, Sergio?
No, just wanted to thank Kevin for his time. And if I have to describe what I remember from Kevin on classes, and I think he also mentioned that were 2 main things. Kevin was always super happy, always with the positive attitude. I never saw him down, even if he was struggling with something. He was always with a smile and trying to make us laugh on class, and always asking a ton of questions. I think it's the student has asked the most questions out of all the students that I have had, and that work. And I always encourage the students to ask questions, and if you have a question, then you don't ask it. I may get there, I may not, or the teachers may get there, may not get there, and so maybe your question will never be answered. And if you ask that question, I'm pretty sure all the students in the same class had the same problem and no one there to ask. So a general reminder: always voice your questions and concerns during classes, and me and all the teachers will be really happy to help with anything. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending this class. I think we can wrap her up. Thank you very much, Kevin, for your time. We really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure everyone really appreciate your advices. We have Kevin's email in there. We also will be putting Kevin and all the alumni in the Discord channel for alumni. So you guys can start also chatting in there. Cecilia, anything?
Just like, is there anything that was not asked, but you feel, Kevin, it would be like really important for everyone here to know? Any final thoughts?
Man, just know that Sergio is that guy. If you guys have taken his class or you're gonna be taking his class, he's that guy. Ask him the questions, man. He not only does he knows this stuff, but he knows how to explain it in a way that just sticks with you. So definitely use that. But other than that, guys, no, I'm always available. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I know this is an hour of everyone's evening. So I really appreciate you guys being attentive here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I think it's like always this opportunity to see ourselves mirrored in the possibilities or the opportunities that we could be having in the future. So it's going to be really helpful for everyone who assisted today. Thank you so much.
To show our appreciation to Kevin, I will ask everyone to unmute and then give Kevin a round of applause, please. I think he really deserves it. So thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
San Diego Global Knowledge University. Please join us for more informative videos on our social media sites and YouTube.